frightening thing to me. What are you watching? I know what I'm aware of doing for you and with you and to you and through you.
Okay.
But what are you watching? I'm clueless about it.
Yeah.
And that you're going to assimilate in your little brain, just like you were saying. And out it comes this interesting mix, this weird amalgam of stuff that I had no clue about. And now what do I do with it? You know, coming home from college with these really interesting convolutions of what I had thought you were all about.
Sure.
And here's this other person.
Yeah.
And so the idea...
It's just more complex soul.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, even just laying aside flat out so much that I had taken for granted was you, because that's what you showed.
Sure.
That's the scary stuff. And you can't plan for that. There's nothing you can do about that. I didn't know whether to blame myself for it or not. To an extent, I felt there was a reason that you were tossing the stuff that we thought was important.
It appeared as though I was tossing.
Right. On the other hand, part of me said, he's exploring, let's just hope he lives through it.
Right.
Because a lot don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was just an interesting mix of emotions through the whole thing. I'm not explaining it very well, but...
No.
You can only do so much, I guess. That's what I'm saying. And I'm not letting myself off the hook at all. I'm saying that you can only be aware of so much stuff that's going on inside you as a child.
Absolutely.
The rest of it, I have to pick up evidentially later.
Right. And that's even as a child up to 23.
Yeah. And then you make your amends for what you discover was a problem that you didn't know about.
Sure.
You're still not off the hook for it. You just now have a new responsibility to address it today.
Well, and it's a fine line between letting your kid develop as your kid develops at his or her own pace, or kind of butting in, and grabbing the reins because it's safer.
Which a lot of people say is the better parenting. If you're a good parent, you'll get in there and you'll make them.
And that's why I think you guys really stepped out on a limb, and to I believe, my advantage as your son. It's tricky, though, because it requires a large degree of trust. I've been permitted to... there were years, the college years, I didn't have a phone. So talking to you guys was kind of hit or miss, really, depending on whether or not you decided to roll up to Conway or not.
Yeah.
And so it was... that's something that most parents would not even entertain. They would force their kids to have a phone.
Yeah.
Just so that they can call.
So they can keep it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you guys never did that. So there is, what you get for that decision is a lot of kind of shaky ground where you're like, I have no idea what the hell this kid's doing.
Right.
And it's not even financial. It's not like I don't want this kid spending all my money. It's not that kind of thing. It's like, it's a personal health issue. How is this kid coping with this new era in his life? And if the kid does not let you into that, you're given a choice as a parent at that point, from what I can tell, from what you guys have done and from what I've seen my friends' parents have done. That is, you either step in and intervene, or you trust that your kid's working things out and then maximize what little time you do have around your kid. And you guys chose the latter, I think, to my advantage.
Well, I hope so. There are things, your mom goes through it particularly more so than I do. The ideas of, we should have made you show us your homework. Know that it got done.
Sure.
And you would have had an easier time at school. We should have done this. We should have made sure,
Sure.
But like you said, we trusted you.
Right.
Sometimes you lived up to it, sometimes us really matter. And
Yeah.
we had seen other children who were perfect on the outside and had no clue about what all that crap was.
Right.
I just didn't get it. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Right.
And all that would just happen. Well, it doesn't just happen.
Right.
And so when we would see you, like you mentioned in one of your episodes, to find out that you picked ticks off a dog that you felt sorry for.
Yeah.
Well, half of us says, what? A pit bull? Are you out of your mind? If I had known that, I would have flipped out.
Right.
On the other hand, you're saying, what kid would do that?
Mm-hmm.
What kid would lead his friends to do that?
I don't know if I led my friends. I just know we did it.
You did it, though.
Yeah, we did.
And the idea, I mean, how valuable is that? What does that show us of you?
Yeah, it offers a different question.
Yeah, does your making an A in math show us more than being willing to pick ticks off a pit bull because
It's a
you
fair
felt
question.
badly for him? Which is the more valuable? Which do I want to see my child exhibit?
Yeah.
Which can be instilled at any time, and which is built in that you can't buy?
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of
Those
choices parents have to make.
Those are tricky.
And those are scary because you don't know which one's the right one.
Yeah, and
You just don't know.
there's really no answer. That's the scariest
I know,
part.
yeah.
There's no answer to that.
Because they're all important.
Yeah.
You have to function in today's world. You have to function in our society, but you're a human being too, and you have to learn compassion and caring. And that's why the world is going to hell in a handbasket. No one knows what that is anymore.
Yeah.
It just doesn't dawn on them. Everything is a calculation for a buck.
Sure.
Well, what happened to humanity? What happened to us as civilized, quote unquote, people? What happened?
Sure. Yeah.
So you weigh all that, and you do all of it as much as possible, and trust that the rest can be the exterior stuff, can be collected later. Just like you, we had to trust that you're going to tap into a thing that brings you great joy, and you'll give 120% to it.
Sure.
And you are.
Yeah,
But
and
we
that's
never saw that in your growing up. Although we even had teachers saying, when he finds it,
sure.
when he finds that thing, that's
Sure.
it. Well, so what do we do?
In the
Say,
meantime,
well,
right.
tough. You're going to sit down, you're going to do.
Yeah.
Or do you say, we trust you to show us your homework. We trust you when you say you did it. If you didn't, I don't know what to do about that. But we have to believe someday
Right.
you will click in
Right.
and be a full person. And that will all matter. I don't know.